What's up, guys? It's your boy Beatty, back again with another video. Today I have a Q&A for you guys. One of my followers on YouTube, or subscribers actually, sent me like a list of questions to ask. Usually at the end of all my YouTube videos, I say leave some comments in the comment section for any kind of videos you want to see. And usually I get, most of the responses I get are videos I usually made or questions that aren't that good. But this guy left me a list of 8 questions, and honestly, they're pretty good questions. Shout out to Isaac Tyndall on YouTube. I like these questions actually. So first question, do white guys have to go harder on anabolics than black guys? I'm assuming he's white because he asked this for some reason. Something tells me he's white since he asked this question. First of all, Isaac, nobody has to do anything. What you do is completely up to you. So if you're saying that black guys have better genetics than white guys, so in terms you feel like you need to take more, well, that's still a choice. You don't have to do anything. You can take as much or as little as you want, depending on your goals, depending on how much you can tolerate. I mean, this is like a common theme in bodybuilding. A lot of white guys kind of, toss it up to genetics, and they say that, black genetics are superior and they're always gonna look better and they're always gonna win. There's some truth in that. But I also don't buy into that, all the way. It's easy to say that, but listen, everybody has pros and cons. Every race, every height, every body type has its pros and cons. So to me, that's like saying, well, if you have a fast metabolism, bodybuilding is so much easier than if you have a slow metabolism. There is some truth in that, but at the same time, the guy with the slow metabolism can put on a ton of weight really quick and probably get a lot bigger than you. So this is a very general statement, right? It's never going to apply for everybody. That's never the case. You know how black guys usually don't have big calves, but then you see that one black guy with huge calves. There's always outliers, but generally speaking, black guys usually have more aesthetic looking physiques, right? Smaller bone structure, okay? So when you have smaller joints, you usually have a smaller waist. You know what I'm saying? Your muscles usually have more of a pop to it because the way it's hanging off the bone, okay? So that's one thing that generally black guys have over white guys, right? Upper body wise, usually black guys have really developed arms, shoulders, chests, sometimes back as well. So those are some pros that black guys do have, okay? That's 2 points to the black guys, right? You can in turn go look at the white guys and say, well, you see a lot of mass monsters that are white, okay? And you see a lot of white guys come in a lot harder, a lot grainier looking, a lot leaner than the black guys. And yes, I know some people are going to say, well, that's just because they work harder. They just work harder. That's why they have that look to them. That's not necessarily true, man. It's just not necessarily true. There's black guys that work extremely hard and can't seem to get that grainy hard look, So I think white guys usually have a harder, grainier look. And then as far as lower body goes, I feel like white guys usually have better lower bodies than black guys. Rarely do you see black guys bottom heavy, with crazy legs and a weaker upper body. You don't see that often, but you'll see a lot of white guys with some crazy sick legs, you know what I'm saying? And maybe not the best upper body. So you can say the black guys have better upper bodies, the white guys got, better lower bodies. Like I said, this is general, so I don't want to hear people say, well, what about this guy? Or what about Justin Compton? What about this guy? I get it. There are people that break the rules. A lot of people break rules. But generally speaking, that seems to be the case. Okay? And then, like I said, black guys usually have a fuller, rounder look. White guys usually have a harder, drier look. So it's like, can you say one is better? I guess you can. If you look at the top lineups, they're usually black guys. So I guess you can kind of say that. But there's pros and cons to both. I definitely wouldn't say white guys need to take more. If you choose to take more, like I said, that's completely up to you. But do you need to take more to be competitive against black guys? I don't feel comfortable saying that, man. I just don't. I don't think anybody needs to take a ton of drugs to be a good bodybuilder. I think if you don't have the genetics to be a good bodybuilder, I don't think taking a ton of drugs is gonna make you better per se. So I guess you can try it, but to be honest, if you don't have it, you're probably not gonna get it, from the bottle. Probably just not, honestly, to be honest with you. So I think that answers the question. Question number 2. What do you think is the reason why bodybuilders nowadays don't have the striated muscle look that the 90s guys had? The reason why I like this question is that a lot of old school guys just say that bodybuilders nowadays don't get in shape. You know, oh, they're just not in shape. That's just not true. But to say that they don't have the same striated muscle look is a way better way to phrase it. Because it's not that guys these days get just as lean, if not leaner. I actually believe guys these days get leaner and harder than guys back in the day. If you don't believe me, just look at the back shots, look at the glutes, look at the hamstrings. That's a telltale way to tell how conditioned somebody is. And guys nowadays have way harder glutes and hamstrings than the guys of any era. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, aside from like the Ronnie Coleman and Dorian Yates look, right? They obviously were crazy hard. But generally speaking, guys didn't have hard glutes and hams like that. Okay, but the striated muscle look, that's a good one. One thing I noticed is that as I put on more muscle, the muscle takes a different look. Okay, when I was 200 pounds, lean, right, ripped, I could just stand there without flexing, and I look ripped, just standing there, right. As I get bigger, at 250 ripped, standing there, I look really lean, but you don't see a lot of striations or deep cuts until I hit a pose and I hold it and I squeeze. Then you kind of see striations pop out, right? The muscle just looks different when you have that much muscle like the guys do now. The muscle looks different. It doesn't have the same look. Same goes for the abs. The amount of food you have to eat to get to that size, the abs don't seem to have as much detail as it did back in the days. I don't think it's because they're not lean. I just think they're so big that the muscles have a different look to it. That's personally what I think. Okay, some people might disagree, but that's my opinion. So I think the reason why some guys don't have the same deep muscle striations as back in the days is because they're a lot bigger. Yes, guys these days are a lot bigger than the 90s guys. Way bigger, On the contrary to what some people might say, oh, the guys were bigger and harder, and no, guys these days are way bigger, way bigger. Okay, so it's going to be a different look. Next question. If you could only use 3 compounds alongside tests for the rest of your life, what would they be? Only use 3 compounds alongside. I mean, I don't use 3 other compounds besides from tests. Unless contest prep, like I wouldn't use 3 compounds. So I definitely wouldn't use any 3 compounds with tests for the rest of my life, because you don't need 3 compounds besides tests. Off season, what I usually would do is test an EQ. I don't need 3 other compounds. Maybe like a low dose of GH with that off season, and that's it. You don't need 3 compounds to test. So if I had to stay on compounds for the rest of my life, I would just stay on test. I wouldn't stay on 3 other compounds. So I don't see the need to be on 3 compounds with tests, unless it's like 8 weeks out from a show, 6 weeks out from a show. Then you throw in, some cutting agents, fat burners, stuff like that. But I wouldn't recommend staying on any 3 compounds for the rest of my life. If you could use only one oral for the rest of your life, what would it be? I don't use orals. They kill my appetite, and I wouldn't recommend staying on any orals. So the way you phrase those 2 questions aren't the best way to phrase it. If you get contacted by Abdullah to come live and train in Kuwait for 6 months, would you go? If you asked me this question like a year ago, I would say absolutely, I would go. Now, no, I wouldn't go. Because I have a lot going on here right now, business-wise, and I'm as big as I want to be, okay? I don't need to grow any faster, per se. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in a rush to grow any faster, so I don't really need that. I also don't want to take any more gear. I don't want to have to take more gear. Just at the point in my life I'm at, I don't want to do that, so no, I wouldn't, but that would be a great offer to anybody who's serious on packing on serious mass. But me personally, at this point in my life, no. A year ago, absolutely. If your income was 4 times what it is now, do you think you'd become a better bodybuilder? Absolutely not. There was a time when I was younger and I didn't have any money. I used to think that, like, oh, if only I had the money these guys were making, I could just take this and I can double this and then I can afford GH and I can take all these extra stuff and I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And then as I became more successful, made more money, was able to afford all these things, then I realized didn't really become a better bodybuilder. It's still your body, it's still your work ethic, it's still your discipline. It really doesn't make you a better bodybuilder. If you're dead broke and you need money to afford food and supplements, well, then obviously it's gonna help you. But I've always been able to afford food and supplements because I've always worked my ass off. I have more money now. I can take more, but I don't because I tried it and nothing happened. So I'm comfortable with the doses that I do take when I am on, and any more money wouldn't make me any better whatsoever. And I know a lot of guys watching this probably think so. Like, ooh, I just need a sponsor so I can sit at home and take more drugs and just be the mass monster. It might help you. You know, I'm sure it'll help you, but it's not going to take you from 0 to 10. It's just not going to happen. It might make you slightly better, but that's about it. It's going to come down to how bad you want it. Because if you wanted it bad enough, you would already have the money to do it because you would be hustling your ass off. So no, it wouldn't make me better at all whatsoever. It would make life easier, but it wouldn't make me better at all. Next question. Is the difference between men's open, classic, and physique the gear they take, or is it the food they consume? It has nothing whatsoever to do with the gear they take. There's physique guys taking more than Phil Heath did. There's local level amateur physique guys taking more than Phil Heath ever did. There's guys at LA Fitness who have never competed, who never want to compete, that take more stuff than Kai Green did. I guarantee you that. I can promise you that. Okay? So that's not the difference between being an average Joe that's on juice and being Mr. Olympia. Boston Lloyd and Tony Hughes have probably done cycles Boston Lloyd says his cycles. He talks about it openly. Boston Lloyd has taken cycles double, triple of what, Mr. Olympia winners have taken. Does he look like Mr. Olympia? No. No offense to him. He's actually a friend of mine, but it's the truth. And he knows that. What if he's gonna tell you it is? He knows the truth. It's genetics. They're just better than him genetically. He can't look like that. It's not in his cards to do. They also have a lot more discipline than he does probably as well. So that's not the difference whatsoever. It's gonna come down to, you did say food. Okay, food is one of the biggest, obviously. And then genetics, If your body doesn't want to get to 300 pounds, then you're gonna have a hard time getting there. Can you really force it and get there? Possibly, but you're not gonna be able to stand next to the guys that get up there easily. Listen, if I just eat 2-3 meals a day comfortably, whatever I want, I'm 300 pounds easy. I'm dieting my ass off right now, and I'm 290. Dieting my ass off, and I'm 290. And listen, I'm not fat by any means. This is real muscle. And I've been off gear for 6 months. Okay, I'm dieting my ass off. Barely eat. Probably right now I'm probably eating like 4,500 calories, and I'm 290 with abs, with no gear. And somewhere there's some physique guy probably eating 8,000 calories and taking 10 grams of gear, and is barely making 220, 230 pounds. So it's just not how it works. Obviously genetically I'm built to be bigger than that guy, and I've eaten so much food for so long that my body is just accustomed to being this size now. It's kind of just used to it. So I promise you, physique and classic guys don't take less than open bodybuilders. I know you think they do, and I know it looks like they do, but they don't. They're all taking the same stuff. Bodybuilding guys usually eat a lot more, and we're just made to be bigger than them. They're bigger men. It is what it is. Does Shaquille O'Neal take more stuff than Stephon Marbury did? No. He's the bigger man than him. He always will be, no matter what Marbury does. It is what it is, you know. And the last question. Is it possible to become a mass monster only consuming clean food, or do you need to chuck some junk in there to get real huge? That's more of a individual question. Most people probably can't be a mass monster eating super clean. They might have to dirty it up, okay? I think too dirty is going to hinder you as well. I think if you're getting everything your body doesn't need, but you're just getting the calories, that won't help you. If all I'm eating is pizza and candy and ice cream, and I'm only getting let's say I'm 200 pounds, I'm only getting 150 grams of protein. The rest is just sugar and saturated fats. That's not going to put on muscle tissue. So there's a difference between a mass monster bodybuilder and just being extremely heavy and carrying a lot of fat and water. So just to be 300 pounds doesn't mean you're a mass monster. You could be 300 pounds and be sloppy, and that's not going to translate to the stage, and it won't help you. So I always say, you hear a lot of people say 80-20, you know, and it's really 100-20, because you get all your clean food in first, and then you add some junk to it. So if I'm getting 5-6 meals a day, I get all those meals in. If I want to add a cookie to each meal, or if I want to add a little pint of ice cream at night, something like that, then that'll be the extra 10-20%. And then I think that way is the best way, you know. Or you can eat clean 5 meals out the day, and then the 6th meal could be a cheat meal, you know. Or you can eat clean Monday through Friday and then have 2 cheat days, Saturday and Sunday cheat, something like that. I think that's the best bet to still get the macros that your body needs to build muscle and get the extra calories as well. That's your best bet. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. And if you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Leave some more comments in the comment section for any kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. Follow me on Instagram at BateyFall on Instagram. Email me for coaching at BateyFall@iCloud.com. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oof. My left shoulder hurts, so I injured my left shoulder in my last video. Check that out. Game.